Hello again, Struckweb. Today I'm bringing you the first Torchlight Infinite build video out of many. And I wanted to start with starter builds. Builds you can make around level 50-55 with about somewhere near 100 energy. Something you can just start the beginning of the end game with. It's not gonna be meta builds, maybe. I haven't tried everything to know what's the meta, but let's say it's gonna get you there, it's gonna get you started, jumpstart your end game grinding for items with better energy, better stats in general, and just to get those other shiny wood drops coming. Hopefully you like the builds. I will make 2 for every hero. This is gonna be the first one for Carino for the Divineshot, and eventually more will follow. So I hope you enjoyed the video, buckle up and let's go. Now let's start with the skills section. In the skills section you can see I've got 120 out of 127 energy. The first thing I've got is marked shot, which is combined with multiple projectiles, thrill, wind projectiles and critical strike damage increase. As you can see, I've also got my potion, but see, this is the last thing you would need to care about. This potion and this one, and you can use the mana potion if you want as well. If you're struggling with the mana, I don't have problems with it. So as mobility, blink with quick mobility, and here I've added blurry steps for extra movement speed. And I know maybe someone else would prefer a different skill, so it's up to you what you put here in this slot. For mobility I prefer blink, but if you like a different mobility skill you can use it. I like blink's cooldown. There is another one that also does damage, the cold one, but it has longer cooldown, so it's up to you there. Now the potion I have with cooldown and emergency restoration, and this one a healing skill which you may not need. I also have with cooldown and emergency restoration. If you don't have enough energy, this gives you 110 and this gives you 100. So that's your setup at 100. I would do this first before I do this. And if you have even less energy, let's say you have 95 energy, this is what you want to have at 95 energy, and this is how you would want to have this at 90 energy most likely. So yeah, this is kind of what you would do with the lower energy setups. Now, since we don't have much mana, at least I don't have much mana, I only have 291, I didn't overdo it with the auras. I have Ice Imbue, which could be replaced for any other Imbue. It's just my Ice Imbue is already leveled up because I leveled up with it, swatted, and it's level 13. Over here you can put Ice Imbue, Fire Imbue, Thunder Imbue, Corrosion, Acuteness, whatever you think. Something that takes 25% sealed mana. So 25% sealed mana is going here. With Rejuvenation, I've recently put it there, it's only level 5 and it only takes 19 sealed mana. You have to be careful when leveling up some of the skills because it might end up sealing more mana than you can handle. So be careful about those skills that don't have a percentage but have a flat number that keeps growing. Here I have Precise Projectiles, which gives us projectile damage and projectile speed, and projectile speed translates to projectile damage for us. You see why in the talents tree. And this actually takes 50 mana sealed. That makes this and this together 75, and magical swords level 12 for mana again. I think this is more than enough to keep us recharging with some of the other bonuses we have to mana and stuff like that. There are many ways that the build can grow, and here we are at the talents tree. So we've got Goddess of Hunting, the one you start with. I don't think this can be changed, or at least not at the beginning. We have Marksman, and we have Ranger. Under Goddess of Hunting, let's first show you the major notes. I've decided to go with Arrow Hurricane. 100% of projectile speed bonus is also applied to projectile damage, 30% projectile speed. I really love this. Then we have attack and casting speed per dexterity, 1 dex per level. This is not that important. You can replace it with 3 birds with 1 stone, if you feel like it, or you can even go for determined, so you have some extra spare life. So this one I leave up to you which one you take. Then marksman, we have there heart piercing shot. Horizontal projectiles always pierce targets. Minus 30% projectile speed, but you get 50% knockback distance. You know, projectile speed it means damage as well. So we're losing 30% damage, but we're getting 50% knockback distance, and you'll see why. This is it. This is why we're getting knockback distance. 100% of bonuses to reduction to movement speed also apply to knockback distance. 100% bonuses of reduction to knockback distance also apply to projectile increases apply to projectile damage. So that means that 50% knockback damage and knockback distance are actually 50% damage, and the 30% damage we lose for the projectile speed we are making up for with knockback distance, which is pretty solid. And in Ranger here, right now, as you can see, I have 11 out of 15. What I will take here, I have few options here which I can take. Touch of Death is not bad. Critical Strike ignores armor. Critical Strike can eliminate enemies under 10% life. It also gives you 120 flat attack and spell crit rating. I think Touch of Death will be amazing. Desperate Measure is not gonna be that great for us, because it will keep pulling enemies instead of knocking them back. Wind Dance, not bad, not bad. You would, when you haven't been hit recently, you would take 20% less damage. It probably is good, but we try not to get hit because we might get one shot if we do with this setup anyways. So what I would take here would be probably Touch of Death. Over here, what I would take here, close range fire is good, but I would rather take something like Track. Critical Strike removes the mark of the marked target hit, dealing physical damage equal to 25% of the damage taken by the target while marked. So I would either take Track or Master Escapist. This one would be my choice here. So let's go through the stats I've taken. I've went all the way here for this projectile damage and speed. I've went here for the crit rating and accuracy. Here for the knockback chance and crit strike. Here for attack and projectile speed. And here I took the 2 stacks of horizontal projectiles piercings. I had 1 point just so I can get the major talent at the top. Wild Tree is active, 13% projectile damage and 3 duration. And then since I had 20, I wanted to move on to the next 3. And then we take this, the damage increase, then the projectile damage and speed, which is again the speed means damage for us. Here's some movement speed and attack speed. If you don't need it, you can put the points elsewhere, like for example for wife and evasion and resistances. But again, we try not to get hit with this setup anyways because we're squishy. Then here we took that crit rating, range damage, accuracy when there are no nearby enemies. The way we played, we try to hit them before they even show up on our screen. Knockback chance and distance and crit rating. Again, this knockback distance actually means damage for us. This one, crit rating while wielding a bow. Yes, this build is a bow build. Ideally you would have a bow. You can get some from the auction house if you can't find a good one. There might be something reasonably decent. then attack when using a bow, and extra bow damage, projectile damage per 3 when wielding a bow. And we even took the one below it, lightning attack damage per 25 dex when wielding a bow. This one you might not need. You might want to remove this one and put the point elsewhere. A good choice would be to put it into dex over here. I wouldn't go for the accuracy right away. If you want more life, sure, you could put it there. And yeah, I think the dex would be the better option if you really don't want that. If you don't have much lightning damage base to begin with. And then Ranger. As you see, I've started with this projectile damage and speed. Many reasons to do it. Then I went for the crit rating. And then the last 3 points I put into critical strike damage. So I'm going for this one here, medium talent. So just focusing on offensive stats for our projectiles, for our crits, and for our projectile speed as well. Things like that. That's what we're looking for. See, this is knockback distance and knockback chance. Things like that. This would work well with this build. Over here we have things like added flat damage when wielding a crossbow. We don't want this, and this we don't want that. Here we have physical damages and chance to mark the target on crit. We already mark, so you probably won't need this, but if you want it, feel free to get it eventually. So there's many ways you can grow the build, and there's a ton of life in all three skill trees. There is life you can get eventually when you have enough points. Hardened, if you add hardened in the build, you can definitely take advantage of some defensiveness. So yeah, I think that those skill trees provide a lot of options to grow in terms of life. So hopefully this gives you a good idea of the talents. And this is the hero trait. There isn't much to talk about here, only that I decided to take moving revolt. It works better for the way I play the build than enhanced ammo. I just prefer a moving revolt. You obviously are free to go with enhanced ammo if you think it works better for the way you play it. Over here between landslide and special magazine, I'm not sure which one I would prefer, but I think landslide might be pretty fun to try. I guess I'll have to try them both to see which one I would love more. Over here, as you can see, I've put projectile pierce, and I've also put this added lightning damage. Obviously here you're free to do other things. If you want, you can add chaos damage. You could add mark, which we don't need because we already have it. You could get poison. There's many things you can do. Even greater multiple projectiles, which will fuck up the damage. That's why I didn't use it. That's why I used regular multiple projectiles, because I liked to focus on damage. 3 projectiles for me right now is more than enough. And now here is the pact tree, and I know that the pact spirits and pets are the pay to win in the game, and I know not everyone will have the same ones I'm using. You may not have the legendary, you might have the purple or even the blue version, but here is what I've got. This one is for projectile related bonuses with crit related bonuses, stuff like that. This is my only legendary, and it's only level 1, but you can see I'm using it for this crit rating here, for this projectile damage here, for this crit rating, this projectile damage, and extra attack projectile damage. Right now I'm using XP. Eventually this XP will turn into projectile speed, which means damage for me as well. This will turn again projectile speed once I'm done leveling, and this will turn into projectile speed as well. So this will be a lot of damage that will come when we are done with the leveling, when we no longer need the XP bonuses. Again, I will make a second build before I'm finished with the leveling. I'll probably keep this one in around level 55 or so I can make a second build video, maybe one with minions for him. Now on this side we have Awu Violet, which I've actually upgraded to level 6. This is for attack damage, crit strike rating, attack speed and chance to paralyze, but I'm mostly using it for the extra pact nodes. Because it's upgraded, this means it gives me extra 2 pact nodes. And this one here I'm only using as well for the extra 2 pact nodes. Just because I didn't have anything better that's upgraded to put anything else that would give me 2 pact nodes. Obviously you would probably want something like this in the other places. But this one is not bad. The Awu Violet, you can see I've got attack damage 12%, which is better than 10% damage in my opinion. I've got crit strike rating, which is again better than 10% damage. And yeah, twice the attack damage, twice the crit strike rating. Here I'm using, obviously, since this is only improving the inner ring and the last one. Here I'm using the default 20% damage, and here I'm using this upgraded from 13 to 17 extra damage with chance to paralyze, and paralyze again makes them take more damage. I think it works well. On this side I'm just, as I said, I'm using this as the pact nodes, so I've just left those as they are. They will be drop quality, all of them most likely, drop quantity quality. Maybe this one with the elemental resistances I would use only if I need to eventually, but again this is just subject to change, and I know this is the pay to win gacha element of the game, so you might not have those. While leveling up I will be using, I can actually rework the skills so I can have up to 50% XP, but I think this is fine with just 20% XP. It's just fine for me right now. If you don't need the XP bonuses, just go for those extra projectile speed bonuses and so on. Just focus on things that you think we need. Projectile damage, projectile speed, damage, crit rating. Crit rating is definitely very good, because if we look at the crit stats right now, I am at crit chance only 35%. So I'm very low on the crit chance right now. I used to have it around 60 something, but then it went low because I had to sacrifice some crit chance. But it's still critting enough. And I also wanted to show you some gear quickly. Keep in mind the 2 legendaries I'm using are not important for the build, although this one, Scarlet Decree, it's okay, but again I don't expect people to have it. I don't expect people to use the auction house to get something that might be expensive. This one probably is not expensive, and I would suggest checking it out. It gives movement speed, which is amazing, and it gives 2 times of added damage. It's not the best, but it's decent, and it's probably gonna be not that expensive. This one you don't need, I just don't have anything better, and it gives me lightning and chaos resistance. That's the main reason why I use it. I just can't find something else. Ideally just prioritize things like flat damage. As much flat damage as possible. You definitely won't have such a bow right away. Maybe you would have something more like this, or maybe something with 2 times flat damage, but as much flat damage as you can get, and projectile speed and projectile damage and stuff like that, crit strike rating for attacks or general, it's good. Try to get movement speed as well. See, those boots I'm using mostly because of the 20% movement speed, and they also give chaos resistance. I would say resistances are not something you should ignore, even though you're avoiding to get hit. You should try to at least be able to tank some of the trash mobs, because some hits would be inevitable. You could try and avoid getting hit by the big boys that could one-shot you or two-shot you, but the little boys you should be able to at least soak up 1, 2, 3 hits from. That's why some resistances are recommended. But yeah, movement speed is what I focused on, as well as flat damage. I was also prioritizing pieces of equipment that I have access to that give me decent amount of energy. So keep that in mind. Look at that yellow thing that says next to this armor, it says energy 15, and you see this yellow bar is not at the end. If it was at the end, that would mean it would be the maximum. So use the gear and power option to get more energy if it's a shitty item that barely gives you any. Like for example this one only gives you 2 out of probably maximum 9 or 10 that it could give. If you wanna get notified when I upload more content like this one, or guides or news and other builds for this game or others like it, Wooter and not so Wooter games, you can subscribe to my channel and hit the bell button to not miss out the notifications. Keep in mind there's also memberships that grant my members access to emotes and badges made by me, as well as members can ask me on Discord for some tutorials of some of the Adobe software. Thanks for watching all the way until the end. Keep it cool, Struck Club. Until next time, and goodbye.